Mr. Speaker, I think the short call taken from opposite is indicative of the vision of this government. Not only was it limited, but it was also late. The member stood and said it was a real pleasure to take a call on this bill this morning. I hate to inform the member that it is indeed nearly 1 o'clock. The member, of course, is behind the times. She's from that party opposite that is always following, always playing catch-up, always trying to catch up with where Labour is at in terms of policies that have vision for New Zealanders, for those New Zealanders who are wanting to get ahead. Because we are working with New Zealanders, we are determined to work with New Zealanders to deliver policies that have vision, that have purpose, rather than the scattergun, backward-looking approaches that we see this government pushing. This bill introduces, or should I say, removes cheque duty. That is one of the things that it does. And I have to say that all those years of waiting for a surplus just to splash out on removing cheque duty is rather a delicious irony. It really does speak to the backward-looking view of this government. They're still obsessed with the old cheques. I know that I don't own a chequebook. I look around this house and there'll be members who do and members who don't. But really it is a small and diminishing part of the budget. And the unfortunate... John Banks takes a lot of cheques, says a member in front of me, and he's probably right. I don't know if he'll be doing that much longer, though, for reasons we can't discuss in this House. The cheque duty is being canned, but unfortunately New Zealanders are left with a credit card bill of about $58 billion from this government's borrowing. $58 billion, and we know that credit cards attract greater interest than cheques. So here we are, a government opposite that has borrowed more money than Robert Muldoon did, presenting their vision to the world, cancelling the fee on cheques. And that sums it up, aside from the belated catch-up of the member discovering that the afternoon has arrived, the yard arm has moved on. This government, we won't mention the yard arm too much in respect of those opposite. They were busy last night. But this budget is, unfortunately, as I've said, backward-looking. It's scattergun. But we think that it's a lost opportunity more than anything else, Mr. Speaker, because it lacks aspiration, because the government opposite is facing higher unemployment numbers than when it took office at the height of the global financial crisis, still higher unemployment in New Zealand, because real median wages are lower than when they took office, because they've overseen the highest gap between rich and poor in recorded history in New Zealand, and because middle New Zealand struggles and continues to struggle under this government. It is a government that has failed to raise those real median wages. It's a government that has overseen interest rates rising but has no plan to help New Zealanders into their first homes. There's nothing in this budget for them. The $3,500 estimated to be saved from the housing tariff is insignificant in the context of $200,000 increase in house prices in Auckland over the last few years. It's a fraction of 1%, as my colleague Phil Twyford pointed out earlier. This is a visionless budget. And we know they've got to surplus, of course, through a series of fudging attempts, one through keeping artificially high ACC levies, another through transport spending being caged as a loan, and so on. But, Mr. Speaker, that has been all to produce cheque duty reductions. Now, this is the big vision from the government. We're being told right now. They're not interested in housing. They're not interested in jobs. They're not interested in wages. Instead, we are here under urgency, passing legislation to remove cheque duty. So, ladies and gentlemen at home, I'm informed that this might save you up to $1 a year. No? 35 cents a year. My apologies. 35 cents per year this may save you at home. I shouldn't oversell this policy, and there will be some people for whom that 35 cents does make a difference. But it is not the same kind of difference that would be made from having the kinds of policies that Labor is proposing to bring when in government. Universal KiwiSaver, the ability with monetary policy to make sure that interest rates are kept low whilst having the money that is used to do that going into savings rather than into offshore banks.
Sorry to interrupt the honourable member. His time has expired. I call Stephen Browning.
Thank you. Speaker.